You're going to have to get your hands dirty with this one. So first things you're going to do is you're going to crack one. In this pot, I'll put some hibiscus leaves and let them boil. Now that they're boiling, so about 5 minutes in, you want to put Hello my darlings, thank you so much for stopping by and visiting with me on today in my wonderful kitchen. Hello. Hello. Yes, I'm having a moment today, I'm sorry. So what am I going to do today? Well, the past couple of times I've done a couple of videos, there's little bits and pieces that have been compromised, so I decided to go ahead and do some extra intros and things like that so that you guys can see what I'm going to show you without you thinking I have completely lost my mind. So it's cold outside, guys. Cold, and I mean cold. It's cold. So what am I going to do? I decided I was going to do some comfort food. So I'm going to make some tomato soup with some beautiful buttermilk wheat biscuits with a little twist. So I'm going to go ahead and get started because I want to share this nice, easy, tasty recipe with you guys. So just hold on tight. Here we go. Simple this recipe is, you're going to need about 10 to 12 Roma tomatoes. And you're going to need some bell peppers, one whole one. That's actually one whole bell pepper. I cut it in half. One whole onion, 5 cloves of garlic, and a few tablespoons or a handful of freshly chopped basil. So this tomato soup recipe is so simple. That's about all you're going to need. Okay guys, so now before we get started on our tomato soup, we're going to start on our biscuits because they're going to take the longest. So I've already put 5 cups of flour in here and 2 sticks of very cold butter. Yes, I'm using regular butter, but my flour that I'm using is actually whole wheat, whole grain flour. Okay, so I'm going to take my hands instead of trying to use a pastry cutter thingamajigger, whatever they call that, and I'm going to take my hands and mix that flour around with the butter and get it all nice and incorporated in together. Okay, once I get all of this mixed in, and I'm using my hands because actually clean hands is the best tool when you're doing things like this. You can use the little tool that's like the pastry cutter that you mix around in there, but I find that getting your hands in there is pretty much the best way to go. You get it mixed better. Okay, and don't worry about if there's still chunks of butter, because as it cooks, that's going to melt down, and as it mixes, that's going to melt down, so don't worry about it. Okay, so now to this, I'm going to add 5 teaspoons of baking powder, not baking soda, baking powder, 2 tablespoons of just regular white sugar. You can use coconut sugar in this case too, but I prefer to use the regular white sugar. Mix all of that around. Now we're going to do something weird. So I'm going to build myself a little well at the bottom, a little hole. And I've actually taken some yeast. I know you don't usually put yeast in biscuits, but that's why these are called angel biscuits, because you want them to be light and fluffy. And I've already put warm water into the yeast packet, and so it can activate. And you see it's already bubbly and everything, because as I was doing it, I forgot. I'm like, oh crap, it's start bubbling already. It's already activating. Let me hurry up and get it out. So I'm putting that in there, and it's spilled over into that. So I'm putting that in the middle, And then I'm going to mix that yeast around into our flour mixture. And see, it's already getting nice and wet. Okay, now to this, we're going to add 1 egg. And then we're going to add a 1.5 cups of buttermilk. And again, using your hands to mix all of that around. Now after we get this mixed, we're going to actually put this in a different bowl, a larger glass bowl. And then we're going to cover this with plastic and let it sit for 30 minutes so that the... okay, so now we have transferred this to a larger bowl. We're going to take some plastic wrap and just cover it and then set it to the side, and it's only going to sit about 30 to 45 minutes while you're doing it. Actually, it can sit to the side while you're getting your tomato soup together, and it'll do everything it needs to do while you're getting all of that. As you can see, we've switched from our cutting board to our cutting sheet here, and all we're going to do is we are going to cut up our tomatoes. Now, how we're going to do this, we're not going to cut them into little pieces because we're going to blend this soup when it's all over, but we're going to oven roast these tomatoes. It gives it a very bold flavor. So we're just going to cut those tomatoes up so we can get them prepared for oven roasting. Okay, so now that we've got all of that, the tomatoes cut up, before we get them ready for roasting in the oven, and we have our oven on 450 degrees because they're going to bake, not broil, but we want them to roast kind of quickly, and it doesn't take very long for tomatoes. We're just going to cut up our bell pepper. Doesn't have to be perfect because again, this is time trying to blend it. I'm going to switch to my big knife because I'm getting ready to cut up my garlic here, and we have 5 cloves of garlic, and notice how I am smashing it before I cut it because I want to make sure that I get all of the good juices out of it, good flavor, plus makes it a little easier to cut when you smash them. So, and I'm just doing a rough chop, cutting up our onion here so that we can get that prepared as well. Okay, so I've taken out a great, huge, large lasagna pan out of the cabinet there because I want to have enough room. We're going to set that over to the side. Oops. Sorry for the blunders. Okay, so we're going to spread this out because we want to make sure it's ready. So first of all, you're going to drizzle some olive oil over top of these tomatoes. Now you got to remember that tomatoes have good flavor, but when you season them, they don't always catch the seasoning. So you want it to catch the seasoning. So we're going to drizzle, I say about 1/4 cup to 1/2 of oil over top. And you're going to mix that around. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some fresh rosemary. And I'm not going to cut it up. I'm just going to break the leaves. Take the leaves off the stem. And throw it into the pan. Okay, just throw it into. Now I'm taking some thyme. Not some thyme as in time on the watch, but some actual thyme, the herb. And and I'm breaking it off, and I am putting that in with that as well. Then I'm going to take a little bit of our chopped basil that we have, our fresh chopped basil, and I'm going to sprinkle that in. A couple of pinches, sprinkle that in. And then I'm going to use a little salt and a little pepper, a little seasoned salt and pepper. Y'all know I only use seasoned salt, I don't use regular salt. A little pepper, a little seasoned salt, and just a couple of pinches of fennel seeds because I wanted to give it that extra oomph. Okay. Then we're going to put this in the oven, and we're going to bake it, excuse me, on 425, 450. I'm using a little herbs of Providence too, guys. Sorry. We're going to bake it at 400 degrees or 425 or 450 for about 10 minutes, just until it starts to get soft. So now our tomatoes are in the oven and they're pretty much almost done because I hear them sizzling. So in the meantime, what we're going to do is go ahead and prepare the rest of it so that when the tomatoes come out, we can put them right in the pot. So I've already cut this oven on high, the stove on high, sprayed this pot with a little bit of cooking oil, a good cooking spray, because we're going to saute some stuff. So go ahead and put down your onions and bell peppers and your garlic that you chopped up over on the other side, and you're going to drop that in there. Wait for that to start sizzling. While we're waiting for that to start sizzling, we're going to drop in a couple of pinches of some oregano. Well, actually, more like a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of oregano. We're going to go ahead and drop in our basil that we cut up earlier, our finely chopped basil. And that actually yielded about, when I chopped it up, it yielded about a quarter cup, a little more than quarter cup. So, but you can use as much basil as you like. Alrighty, I'm going to also drop in a couple of pinches of some dried onions. I use big pinches, y'all. Big pinches, because I like flavor. And then I'm going to also drop in some sea salt. And I'm not going to use any pepper because I've already put in so much seasoning. And I'm going to use my black sea salt this time. And just 2 pinches of sea salt. Alrighty. And as you can hear, that is sizzling. So you're going to go ahead and mix that around in there.
What you making?
Now that it has sauteed down, we're going to put in our tomatoes straight out of the oven. See how beautiful they are? And they've only been in there about 10 minutes. They're nice and soft. Alright, so now you're going to take your tomatoes and mix them around in with the rest of your veggies and stuff that you put in there, that onion, that bell pepper, the garlic. You got your seasonings in there. You have your fennel, your rosemary, and your sea salt. I'm going to put another drop. You got oregano in there. You got nice basil. It's going to be nice and flavorful. I'm going to take one more twig. So I'm dropping down just one more twig, one stick of the rosemary. And then I'm going to let this simmer for about 15-20 minutes. So that everything can kind of incorporate each other. And then we're going to blend it and have soup. Alrighty, so our tomato soup is done. But what we're going to do is we're going to smooth it out. So I've put it in my trusty little Ninja a blender. You can use an immersion blender inside the pot if you want to, but I don't have one, so I'm using my blender. Or you can even use a food processor, but I just prefer to use this. And I'm going to pulse it just to smooth it out. Now you don't want to pour all of it in there at once, because you got to open the top a little bit to let the steam out so it doesn't pop off the top. And you don't want it to overflow and then you cover it in tomato soup. So you put it in there a little at a time. So we've put most of it in, but not all the way to the top. So we're going to pulse it. See how pretty that is? It has a beautiful color. And then we're going to put the rest in and finish blending it. See how nice that, I mean, it's got a pretty color. And then now what I like to do is put it back into the pot and put it on the stove so that it can simmer just a little while longer. You don't have to do that, but I let mine simmer another 5 minutes or so. And if you want yours to be a little more creamy, you can actually put some heavy cream in it or a little milk. I prefer not to because I find that it's just as good without. So we're going to pour this back into the pot. And we're going to let it simmer for about 5 to 10 more minutes, and then we're going to be ready to eat. Okay, so as you can see, I've already floured my counter because I don't have a whole lot of counter space over here. So I'm going to take the biscuit dough. It's already risen really well, and I'm going to put it on top where the flour is, and I'm going to start to knead it. Now, before I get it kneaded really well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some cheese into the dough. I've taken some Kobe Jack, shredded Kobe Jack, and I've shredded up some sharp provolone. You didn't know that was a thing, did you? Sharp provolone. And I'm going to just put that in and mix it with the dough. Okay, so as we mix it in with the dough, and it's going to be a little bit sticky, so your hands are going to get messy, so don't get frustrated. And then I'm going to actually put in a little more flour so that it can start to firm up. Okay, so we've already added some extra flour to it just to give it a little spring. And I've actually, this biscuit dough is going to make enough to make like a lot of biscuits. So what I did was I actually broke it in half, took it and parted it in half. I'm going to wrap half of it in a plastic wrap and put it in the refrigerator for another time because we're not feeding that many people. And then this one we're going to roll out and get it ready to put into the oven. The oven is already set at 350 degrees. And so you're going to put it in there until they're golden brown. That's roughly about 10 minutes. You can brush them with a little butter or a little oil if you just want them to get nice, pretty brown. But remember that you have that cheese in there, so you don't want to brush it too much. Now, teach you a trick. If you have a biscuit cutter like this, you can use these. That's wonderful. You can also use a cup or something to cut your biscuits. But when you're making your biscuits, I'm going to tell you something I learned. Just press down and come back up. Make sure you put your flour on the rims so that it doesn't stick, but just press down and come back up. Everybody has that desire to twist, but you don't want to twist because it pinches the dough and it takes away from your fluffiness. So that's why you just press it down and come back up. And I promise you, if you have a biscuit cutter, thank you so much again for watching this video. I truly hope you enjoyed that recipe. I know normally at the end of my videos you see me, you know, holding the food and eating and things like that, but like I said, some of my stuff got compromised, so I had to redo a little bit of it. Not a big deal, but trust me, I did eat it and it was really good. So what did we do? We did some homemade tomato soup and we did some buttermilk wheat biscuits. These biscuits were made from whole wheat grain flour, and we put a little cheese in it to give it a cheesy biscuit taste, and it was absolutely good. And trust me, when I made those biscuits, I couldn't even eat any on camera because I had eaten 3 when they first came out the oven. I'm so ashamed because they were that good. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Now, before I go, I want you guys to know a couple of things that are coming up. I know that my videos have been kind of all over the place and I have a lot of different stuff going on, but that's because, you know, I'm new. I'm still kind of getting a handle on it and I'm still learning my way around, so bear with me, and I want to make sure I'm giving y'all as much good content as I possibly can. So, this is what's going to happen next. I have 2 things getting ready to happen. The first thing is I'm doing 30 meals in 30 days. Oh, can she do it? I think I can. Matter of fact, I know I can. So we're going to do, starting November 1st, we're going to do 30 meals in 30 days. We're going to have a different meal every day. You guys are going to get to see how I cook for my husband, my family, my friends, and it's going to be absolutely wonderful. And then when we get close to Thanksgiving, we're going to do some special stuff for Thanksgiving ideas, but we're going to make meals out of them during the week. How awesome is that? Yes! The next thing is in 2 weeks, guys, I have a series that I'm starting that I'm so excited about. And it's called Inspired Foods. And what I'm doing is I'm doing recipes based off of people that inspire me. And I'm building the recipes from scratch. No books, no anything. They're just something that reminds me of people and who they are to me. Like if you're somebody that I see as strong, caring, and loving, I'm going to build a recipe that's some food that's strong, that's a comfort food, something that I'm going to love. So stay tuned for that. That starts in a couple of weeks, and that's only going to be once a week that one of those videos are going to come out. But I just wanted you guys to share in that with me because I'm so excited about that series, and I've been really working hard on it. So I'm so excited. So those are the 2 things that's coming up. Our 30 meals in 30 days, and then our inspired foods. So give me some ideas of things that inspire you. I would love to hear the things that inspire you. So you guys, come on, talk to me. I like it when you talk to me. It's like it's a give and a take, you know. Let's do this together. So again, thank you so much, guys, for stopping by and watching me. I know I talk a lot. I'm trying to get better. It's not working out too much, but I'm trying. So thank you so much for stopping by, guys. Make sure that if you really like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe button and hit that little bell so that you know when we have things come. Whenever I upload a video, if you hit the little bell, it'll give you a notification and let you know I just uploaded one. So like, subscribe. Yeah, like, subscribe. I think that's how they go. Either way, but you know what to do. And then share these videos with other people. I love doing this, and I love doing this for other people. So share these videos and let some of your friends and stuff that may be interested in it know that I'm here. So thank you so much again for stopping by. I truly, truly, truly appreciate you for giving me the time of day. And I love you. God bless you. You guys have a wonderful evening. You know, always at the end of the day, when it comes to food and cooking, I'm going to have you back. And thank you for watching. Happy cooking.